obviously give credit to Ole Miss. Jaxson Dart was incredible. Watkins was, I mean, couldn't cover him. But we got a long way to go, a lot of work to do. Disappointed in the way we played. Our kids are disappointed in the way we played. But we're going to have to get healthy and have a good week next week, moving on. But very disappointed. I felt like we had them ready to play. Obviously, that wasn't the case.
I was going to ask, you said you felt like you had them ready to play, but was there any indications that something like this was coming? Records.
No. I mean, we had a really good week of practice, as good as we've had. So no, I didn't go into the game feeling. I felt like we had some matchup problems, but I thought we had some answers with it, and we were in three deep, and they ran by us. And we were in man, but we were in three deep, and they ran by us too. So couldn't get pressure on the quarterback, couldn't get there either. And so when we're in man trouble, man to man against some of their receivers that they had, Watkins specifically, we were having a hard time guarding him.
Surprised at all that Dart stayed in so long? I mean, they're throwing 4 verts up 32 on you guys.
No, I mean, I don't. No, I mean Lane. I don't have a problem with Lane or what he did. I don't know if they were trying to get him a record or what the case is, but I don't have a problem with how the game went, except for we have an opportunity to stop him, and we couldn't.
Sam, I know everybody and y'all know that Ole Miss likes to attack you deep, but did it surprise you at all how much they did? I mean, it was early and often as well. Did it surprise you how much they stretched the field on you?
I mean, they were having success with it. I mean, I think in 3 plays they had 2 go routes for touchdowns on us. So no, it didn't surprise us. We'd been working go balls all week, but well, we felt like they would do it. We felt like they'd run the hitch, go hitch, go hitch. Felt like they'd try to attack us like LSU did in their own way of offense, and they did.
An update on Talon and kind of what went the decision to go to Malachi in the second half.
Talon, he came back when he got hurt, and then we worked on him at half. We didn't know coming out of half if he would be ready to play. And once we said we were going to look at him throwing and moving, and Bobby had him moving front and back, and just was gimpy. And we didn't want to take that chance of getting him hurt further. And plus, we believe in Malachi putting him in. So that was the decision there. It had nothing more to do than that. We just felt like we might get him hurt worse if we put him back out there. He was willing. Part of his success has to do with his legs, and he didn't have them, basically.
They got a really good defensive front and wound up with 8 sacks today. Could you maybe talk about that versus your protection today?
A couple of them we were hot on outside. They pushed the pocket on us. I think if I just off of what I saw, I would say there's probably about 3 of them where the pocket was pushed in there. We couldn't get open. Would have had time, to throw it. And then there was about 3 of them where we whiffed a guy. We got beat on the edge, totally beat on the edge on one of Talon's. It got hit in the back. But there was 3 of them probably. They had a pick twist, so we were sliding right into it. And how we didn't get that one picked up is I have to look at the film, but we should have, because it was 3 for 3 in a slide. So I didn't feel the edge as much. Before it was like tackle defensive ends getting beat 1-on-1. I didn't feel that. I felt more of the inside twist game that was our problem. And I think we got better as the game went on, but obviously we started horribly for the entire first quarter and for most of the first half defensively. Well, all the first half defensively.
We had only seen a few glimpses of Singleton, but today he operated, he had scoring drives. Just maybe what you thought of him in that role today.
Well, I think he took control. I think he went out there and I tell you guys, he made a few passes. He's made through throws in there that he let the ball go way before the break, and we're right on here that last drive. He threw an 8-yard out that I mean, he let that ball go way before the break. He did it several times. Obviously, him running the football is a big asset. He's a hard guy to tackle. It's a shame that we didn't have a receiver on the ball on his touchdown run. But I was really, really happy with the way he competed and the guys that were out there offensively, how they competed with him.
Like Braylon Russell wasn't 100%. Just what did you think of Dominion and getting Rodney Hill back? And then how's Braylon doing?
I think they ran hard. Braden's going to be okay. I mean, but I think they ran hard. There wasn't a lot there at times, but I still think they ran hard and tried to get at times something out of nothing, which I feel like they did. It got a couple of yards on it, and but we got better running the football when Malachi came in because he was threatening them with the zone read. But Rodney, to see him score, to answer your question, to see him score, and he ran hard to get him back. That'll help us down the road as well. And R-Dub started the football game and ran extremely hard.
The early pass interference penalties, on D-backs playing physical, did that maybe impact the secondary moving forward, where maybe a little less physical or anything like that?
When you're fragile, and I think we're a little fragile there. I think we are. We don't have as much confidence there as what we need to have. But it's at the same time, confidence builds with success. Having success. So anytime that happens early, I think that would affect the way that you feel like you can cover because you go in there and different guys call it differently. Sometimes you can be ultra aggressive and get away with it, and sometimes you can't. So to answer your question, possibly. I had to look at the film, but possibly that could have played a part of it. But cutting people wide open had nothing to do with pass interference. We've got to figure that out.
And you guys have had some pretty good pass defense performances against maybe some dual threat guys, but Nussmeier and then Dart. Is there anything specific about, the guys that stand in the pocket and some veteran guys that have given you some more fits this year?
Well, I think both of them have a lot of similarities. One of them is we didn't get pressure on either one of them. So they just sat back there. Even when we tried to pressure, we didn't get pressure on either one of them. So that's going to build their confidence as well. Both of them have really good wide receivers and put us in a little bit of a jam at times, matchup wise. And, I told T. Will, I said, I don't care if they rush for 500 yards. We gotta quit getting them behind it. We can't let them get behind us and make him run the football. And that's when he went back into soft coverage, and unfortunately they ran by us in that too.
I guess Trey Harris for Ole Miss didn't play. Did that affect maybe
Say again.
Trey Harris, the receiver for Ole Miss, didn't
Yeah.
play? Did that kind of affect the way you were able to cover maybe the rest of the receivers? That the scouting report was maybe different than what y'all had prepared for during the week?
No, I mean, they just stood to Watkins, for 250 something yards, 5 touchdowns. But no, I don't think it affected us, even though we knew we were going to have to possibly double cover Trey. We probably should have went that way with Watkins.
Yeah, Sam. The sacks. Ole Miss has been doing that to everybody. I think they're averaging about 5. They had 10 against OU. As a long-time guy in this league, what do you think of their pass rush and their tackle for loss game, and what makes them so good at it?
They play 10 guys, probably somewhere around there. Very, very talented. A lot of things happen with sacks too. When you can cover and you can man cover, they've got some good corners. hard to get open at time. If you notice more today when we had some success throwing the football was against zone coverage. And we were finding holes in there. But I think, Bob, to answer your question, they're really, really talented and good, and they stay fresh. They've got good line games. They got pick games. And then if you get behind on they're very good against the rush. Against our rush, trying to rush the football. They put you in longer situations and makes it very, very difficult to protect them because they're very, very talented.
And you got an open date now. Do you feel like it comes at a good time to kind of recover mentally and physically from this and kind of, how do you see going into the open date and then the last push, try to get
Well,
ball?
I like the two open dates. I do. I think, especially with your depth not being quite as big at the end of the year. I like the two open dates. I think obviously we need it after. You can look at it two ways. You're either so mad that you want to get it back out there and get that nasty taste out of your mouth in a week's time, or you say, hey, we can't fix it in a week's time. We need more time. That's how we'll look at it. We need a little bit more time. We have Texas, Louisiana Tech, and Missouri left. So I like where it came. Obviously, wish we would have won today. So we be talking a little bit different than what we're going to talk. What that meeting was in there was certainly different than what we all wanted it to be.
Sam, I know this is a new team, but last year y'all's defense was pretty good through the first 8 games and kind of let go of the rope down the
Yeah.
stretch. How confident are you that maybe won't be a repeat performance this year?
Well, each team's different. I know what you're talking about with, we played really well and then we haven't. I understand the question. I think it's a fair question. But teams are different. We probably have to go back and look at that in the off week too and go, okay, are we showing our hand? What are we doing here? Because obviously Lane and them had something today. And I don't know if it was alignment of the D lineman. But he didn't play a whole lot of fastball today. It was all see what we're given, check, and him and T Will were having a check to check. And obviously they won, and so I think we do have to go back to look at that because if you look at even last week, we didn't play as, with minus the turnovers, we gave up about 500 yards last week too. I believe in our kids. I believe in our coaches. We'll go look at it and see if we can't get it fixed. I believe we can.
I think a couple of weeks ago you mentioned that Jalen Braxton had a chance to come back after the bye. Do you have any update on him potentially being able to return, and how big would he be if he's able to?
Well, all I know is that he's ran on grass. Before it was always in the pool and on the treadmill in the pool and not fully weighted. So that's all I know, that he's played on the grass. He has not practiced or anything like that. So I can't really answer that question until next week.
What message do you want to get across in the locker room just then?
I just told them that we got outplayed, outcoached, out physicaled. And that we've got 3 games left. And if we can win each one of them, we can hold our head up and go on to whatever bowl. This team, I told them that we can't have 80 that are going to go fight and 20 that don't. I told them if we're not willing to fight now, then we won't fight the rest of our life. But if we do, we'll fight the rest of our life. So I like this team. I hate that we got beat. I hate it for the university. I hate it for the state. But I do like this team. And I know I'm going to catch hell for that, but I do. I like the kids. And I think they'll come back and fight and correct what a lot of things that were wrong today, if we physically can do that, which we can, and come back and give a good showing when we go out there and play Texas the next time we're out there.